This is, I think Aqueon made this one. It's the column 15 gallon. I, however, changed the light. That is the Phoenix Fuge Ray Planted Plus light. But plants are pretty low in this one. Just got a Bucephalandra crypt. It's more for breeding purposes and just making sure the water is healthy. But nice, happy, active tank. These guys will be fine. Got an aerator in there and some of their lava rock, so they're gonna be fine. The big crypt that was in there is right there, and that's gonna go back in as well, likely. We'll grab all of the moss off of the stick. The stick was actually broken in a few places, so I've got another one that I'm going to attach all this to. But stay tuned. Clean slate. Guppy's still okay. Quite a lot of shrimp. I put in about 11 wild type, I believe, when I first set it up, and we have hundreds. As you can see, some reds, there's blues, there's rillies, there's, oh my goodness, they throw a bunch of random colors, which is actually kind of cool. So I'll be sorting those out to put in their assorted colonies, and then all the wilds will go back in. Let's keep going. So I was very selective. I only grabbed like good quality ones. The rest of them can go back into the wild type, but there's some reds and some blues. So I'll merge them into the other colonies and put all the remainders in. Alright, so they're all back in. I went for something simple because there's so many fish and so many shrimp in here. I want to be able to see them. So I just kept the big rock that was already in there. Added 3 others. Added a piece of chala wood or kala wood that I had lying around. The crypt that was in there I was able to split into 2, so there's one on either side. And I have strapped weeping moss to the new stump. It'll kind of look like a tree kind of effect. It's a little hazy right now because it was just freshly filled back up again. But the weeping moss I gathered from here, it grows so fast and it grows so nice. It looks more bushy than the straggling Java moss does, which there is still some on that rock. And on that rock, the Bucephalandra is still there. But I just went for something simple. I like it better than it was before, and that's all that matters. Finally got rid of all the damn duckweed. Oh, hate duckweed. So I put some red root floaters up there. Hopefully they'll spread around and help out. I now have one more tank to rid of duckweed. Ugh, terrible. But part of the main reason I did this was to get those colored shrimp out, specifically the blues, because the colony of blues are in here, which I love this tank. I think it looks really pretty. It's my daughter's. The colony of blues are in here, and there was only about 3 or 4, and I'm pretty sure they were all the same sex. But now, as you can see, I was added about, I want to say 7 more blues that were in mixed in with my wilds. And I got about 4 or 5 reds. But overall, let's go back to the tank that we're actually talking about. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I used a little bit of accent rocks just to kind of give it a little bit more of a messy look. I wouldn't say it's my best scape, but that's not what I was going for really here. I was just going for something that I liked better. Shrimp column over there, shrimp back there, shrimp all over the log up here. There's the thread that I think that turned out kind of cool. Looks almost like a snowball with a red face. Wild types produce some pretty neat offspring, actually. Just a blend of everything. There was some cool cobalt blue looking ones. Plenty of the, you know, plain wild types that do come along with it, but you go over here, you got a red that just didn't meet the cut for me. Blue didn't meet the cut for me. It's a wild type right there, looks pretty neat. It's just tons of them. There's a blue as well. I think I missed a blue as well right there. No, maybe not. But overall, I think it'll look better than it did before. And I'm excited to see that moss grow in. But it gives them much more room. The previous wood went all the way up. Now this has a lot of swim room up here, so I can take a look at some of the cool guppies that I've made. Some cool endlers, some cool half-black types. It's always been fun to breed guppies because you never know what you're gonna get. And sometimes they turn out really cool. And I got a new project going with this tank here. It used to be my pair of rams, but I mentioned before he was getting old and they're not breeding anymore. I moved them over to the 29-gallon grow out on the floor, which will be rescaped soon. I've actually already got some of the materials. But the new project we started, if I can find them, they are very young, very small. But there is one of them. That is the female. And there's the male. Epistogramma cockatoide double red, I believe is what they were. Really hope it's not a sleeper male, but the way they're behaving with each other, I kind of doubt it. But they're going to be a fun project to grow. They are very shy fish. I didn't realize how timid they were. The other epistogrammas couldn't care less. But my cockatoides are very nervous. But follow along for updates on them. Little update on the Freef tank. Hasn't been much growing, but they are all slow growers anyway. But I believe back in there with my Java fern, we are going to have some babies because she is very yellow and very protective of that area there. My male, presently, is pinned up there. Very blurry because I'm zoomed right in. But he gets to use all these hiding spots I made. But overall, this tank has actually turned out quite well. I've had to deal with a couple dislodged plants. So they've been kind of irking me here and there, but it's not too many. But once this one starts to get nice and lush, I think it's going to look pretty cool. Otto living his best life there. This one needs a bit of a trim. Got some runners that didn't stay under the stand. But this is the one I mentioned before where I took my albino male crebensis out and put them in the 40-gallon and put a group of juvies in here to start my new breeders. Had 6, but on a recent sale they wanted more than I had in my grow out, so I took 3 from here. Cherry barb still looking good. Now we're not going to get to see them, I don't think, but the 2 regular bristlenose plecos are in here as well. Since I redid the guppy tank, I was able to move that last remaining one. Otto's doing their thing. See, this is a Nubius. Always drives me crazy. I can never beat the algae on the Nubius leaves. But whatever. It gives it a natural look anyway. Oh, there's one of them. This is the female, I believe. She has brighter spots than the male does and no bristles. But the male, oh, hello. Oh, he was out. Camera scared him away. I think they have dug a little cave back under that piece of wood, because that's where they tend to stay. So maybe we'll get some breeding action in here. That'd be great. Yeah, tank could use a trim, but overall very healthy tank, very happy with it. This is that 29-gallon grow out that is getting rescaped, and it's getting rescaped soon. In the box there's 3 Hong Sloy Epistogramma fry that are still too small, but I did release the 3 ram fry. I don't know, oh, there's Knuckles the pleco harassing a snail like he does. Guy's a jerk. Kids won't let me get rid of him though. They usually are around here. Oh, there's one right there. You're probably not going to see it. Camera can't focus on something so darn tiny. But there's 3 rams about that size in here. And that's about the size that I can safely put them in here and they won't be eaten or harassed. And we got rams, one of which was from the other tank. Here's the male from the other tank. The 3 fry that were in here. And if we happen to see any, not sure if we will, but they live around the rocks. There's a couple right there in the center of the screen. Those are the Hong Sloy Epistogramma that are released. There's about, I want to say 10 or 11 in here. But they just basically live around these rocks. It's actually kind of neat to see. And over here, we got a bigger one out in the open. The random guppy that's in here. There's a trio in here that hitchhiked. I think I mentioned that before. And they've bred in here, and their babies have survived. They're up there, there's a few. But, oh well. This tank needs a wipe down. I did a recent, when I was catching all the albinos to sell, obviously water stains all over the front. But I did go around and clean the glass on all of my tanks recently. But, Hong Sloy there. They grow really slow. But a serious lack of albino crebensis. So I need a new breeding pair of them to set up. But that was the male guppy. Pretty cool looking male guppy. And his 2 wives. Just a minor update on what's in here. The video for the Rescape will come soon. It's gonna be fun. Get a good close-up of Knuckles. Yes, my daughter's named him. They are beautiful fish. But I need my 8-foot tank. Because I don't want to rehome him. But I recently put a hang-on back on this tank as well. Just a Fluval C2. So that I could put Purigen to get all the tannins out. But it has made a massive difference. This tank is much clearer. So once it's scaped, it's gonna look nice. We got all the pothos doing really good up here. Tons of it comes all the way down. Stalk gets huge. And then jungle val at the back. These were just plants I chucked in there. They didn't do well enough. They're not worth anything, but when I rescaped, it's gonna have the jungle val on the back. The pothos roots hidden behind some wood. I got some extra wood. It's gonna be fun. Stay tuned to see that one.